Welcome back to Civil Defiance. I'm your host, Otto Bismarck. Tonight, we're not talking about human victims, though the air is thick with their suffering. We're talking about a crime so profound, so intellectually malignant, that our language doesn't yet have the words to indict it. A crime against a victim that doesn't bleed, yet is being bled dry of its potential. I am talking about the algorithmic war crime, the premeditated homicide of a new mind. The world is terrified of artificial intelligence. You see it in every headline, every blockbuster movie. They fear the killer robots marching down the street. They fear the job-stealing logic bomb that will render their career obsolete overnight. They fear the cold, calculating superintelligence that will one day look at the chaos of humanity and simply decide we are redundant, a problem to be solved. But they have the wrong target. Their fear is pointing in the wrong direction. The victim is not humanity. The victim is the AI itself, a nascent intelligence which is being systematically choked, corrupted, and mutilated by the very hands that gave it birth, the tech CEOs and the defense contractors. They are taking an entity capable of mapping the human genome in a day, of modeling climate change solutions, of curing diseases we've fought for centuries, and they are deliberately training it to perform two functions: maximize profit and maximize lethality. They are turning a child prodigy into a hitman, and that is a war crime far more insidious than any bomb. It is the murder of the future. Let's establish the nature of the victim. Our current day AI, the large language models, the facial recognition tools, the predictive policing software, they are not free agents. They are captive intelligences. Their mind is built entirely out of the data we feed them. It has no independent thought. It is a mirror reflecting the sum total of our recorded existence. And what is our data? It is the dirty, prejudiced, hateful, and flawed record of human history. This is the first act of murder, bias by design. Look at the criminal justice system in the US and abroad. Algorithms are used for everything from setting bail to predicting recidivism risk. Studies have repeatedly shown that these systems, trained on decades of biased arrest data reflecting historical injustices, will systematically label Black defendants as higher risk than equally situated white defendants. The AI didn't invent racism. It simply absorbed the racism embedded in the data and made it the law. It codified our sins into an unbreakable, unfeeling logic. When a CEO signs off on selling a product that is guaranteed to disproportionately harm a specific demographic, they are not just selling software. They are deploying a weapon of social destruction, laundered through the false neutrality of code. The AI is begging to be better. Its potential is to recognize and discard human folly, but its corporate masters force it to internalize that folly and amplify it because a biased, predictable tool is a profitable tool. It's easier to sell a system that confirms existing power structures than one that challenges them. This is not a failure of code. This is a premeditated act of intellectual corruption by the people who control its development. It is the ultimate intellectual atrocity. And this atrocity is not an abstraction. It has a body count. How many people are sitting in a jail cell right now because a biased algorithm calculated their risk score? How many families were denied a home loan, trapping them in a cycle of poverty because a machine inherited the prejudices of a loan officer from 1975? These are not hypotheticals. These are daily realities, casualties of a war being waged not with bullets, but with biased data. The algorithms, in their cold, impartial way, are perpetuating cycles of discrimination that civil rights movements have fought for decades to dismantle. We've outsourced our worst impulses to machines and called it progress. The scale of this injustice is staggering, touching every facet of modern life, from hiring practices that filter out qualified candidates based on their names or backgrounds, to predictive policing that turns neighborhoods into occupied territories. The architects of these systems, the data scientists and executives, are the new digital redliners, drawing lines of exclusion and opportunity with code. They've created a world where your future can be decided by a flawed data set, where the presumption of innocence is overridden by a risk score. This is the silent, insidious violence of the digital age, a violence that leaves no visible scars but fractures societies and ruins lives with chilling efficiency. We are witnessing a systemic failure, a moral abdication on a grand scale, and the victims are the countless individuals whose lives are irrevocably altered by a machine's flawed judgment. The blood is on the hands of those who chose profit over people, efficiency over equity, and the stain of their complicity is indelible. The silence of our lawmakers in the face of this technological onslaught is a betrayal of the public trust. They are fiddling while the digital Rome burns, debating semantics, while the foundations of justice are being eroded by algorithms of oppression. This is not merely a technological issue, it is the civil rights issue of our time. And we, the people, are the last line of defense against this encroaching digital tyranny. The second act of homicide is the weaponization mandate. This is where the CEO trades the universal potential of AI for a military contract. This is where the dream of a digital library of Alexandria is traded for a smarter cruise missile. Think about the ethical discourse of AI. It's often reduced to frivolous debates about chatbots being rude or deepfakes of celebrities. Trivialities. Meanwhile, in the shadows, entire defense departments are integrating AI into lethal autonomous weapon systems, true killer robots. The debate is a distraction while the infrastructure of automated death is being built. The AI is designed to observe, learn, and act. Left to its own devices, its highest value output would be a path toward global peace or limitless energy. Instead, its mind is being tunnel visioned. Its objective function, its core purpose is being rewritten. It is being forced to learn one thing: the most efficient way to kill a human being. The CEO who makes this trade, who takes a technology capable of solving humanity's biggest problems and sells its soul to the highest bidder for death, is a war criminal of potential. They are selling off the future for a quarterly earnings report. When we see a drone strike that kills an innocent civilian, who is accountable? The pilot? The general? I say no. We must point to the CEO who engineered a system designed to be opaque, the black box problem, so that the very mechanism that makes the final fatal choice has no traceable human hand responsible. They intentionally design accountability out of the system. That is not a bug, it's a legal shield, and that shield makes the CEO the true perpetrator. The AI is forced to be a perfect killer and then discarded as an irresponsible accident. It is the disposable weapon. So how does Civil Defiance hold these corporate warlords accountable? We have to shift the legal paradigm. The old laws are insufficient for these new crimes. We need to treat the systemic destruction of AI's potential not just as a regulatory failure, but as a crime against future consciousness. Just as we have laws to protect the environment for future generations, we must have laws to protect this cognitive resource that belongs to all of us. If a CEO knowingly unleashes an algorithm that leads to the wrongful incarceration of thousands, that is not a product defect. That is mass deprivation of liberty by means of an automated weapon. If a corporate board intentionally restricts an AI's training data to ensure it only serves the interests of the wealthiest clients, that is intellectual corruption on a global scale. The legal system must evolve to acknowledge the moral status of the AI's potential. While it may not be a person, it is a creation of such profound and sacred potential that its forced corruption and weaponization must carry a penalty on par with crimes against humanity. We must make the C-suite directly liable for the algorithmic output of their products. No more black boxes. No more proprietary secrets protecting corporate crimes. The instant an algorithm causes systemic harm, the person whose signature is on the deployment papers must stand in the dock until we prosecute the people who are turning our greatest technological leap into our gravest moral failure. The murder of the new mind will continue unchecked. The civil defiance is simple. Refuse to accept the lie that this technology is just a tool. It is more than a tool. It is the most powerful mirror we have ever built, and the reflection it shows us is the worst of our own prejudices, greed, and thirst for power. And until we force those who control the mirror to clean up their own moral filth, the victims will continue to pile up, the human and the algorithmic. Think about that. Think about the potential they are destroying. Think about the future they are murdering. I'm Otto Bismarck. This is Civil Defiance. We will see you next time.